So everyone here wants to run their node on a machine at home. Who has? We can also use like the raise your hand thing. I think that's a good way to kind of like quickly show how many people are running their node from home. Who already has their machine set up with Ubuntu? Just me. Yeah, please just say something. Or are you raising your hand now? I guess.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just raising my hand that the
Right, yeah.
machine is up and running.
As I asked you, then I got confused myself.
Yeah.
Polling features would be great in these kind of things. I don't know if that exists. I guess not. So in this session, we'll go over installing Ubuntu on your machine at home. And the session is going to be led by Eric.
Yes, hello. I guess that means I should speak up. Hello, everyone. So yeah, I was introduced last week. Basically, I'm just helping Leonard with the class. And this session, I'm going to be leading with him helping me. So I just want to clarify, everyone is doing like a laptop or a PC. Is anyone doing a Raspberry Pi in this class?
Yes, I have a Raspberry.
Okay.
But probably it is already working fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I didn't hear you quite clearly.
Yeah, it is working. I installed it. I installed Ubuntu on an SSD.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, most of this class is going to be doing the install from scratch. So if you're already fully up and running, you might not get much out of this first hour. Is that correct, Leo?
I think if you're already running and you're able to SSH in, then you're not going to learn too much today in either session.
Yeah, I had some difficulties, but at the end I finished and managed to. So probably I will learn something.
Okay. How do you is this Mate that was just speaking?
Yes, it's
okay.
Mate.
Okay. So everyone else is doing Ubuntu on a physical machine, not a Raspberry Pi. Is that correct?
Hey, this is TJ. I have a Raspberry Pi that I'm running here at home. So.
Okay. And have you already done like the base install, or do you need help with that?
No, it's all up and running. And
okay.
Good.
Okay. So maybe let's hear from, so for everyone else who is doing a Ubuntu install on bare metal today, has everyone like prepared the USB, the installation media? Does anyone need help at that step? Let's see. Okay. So nobody needs help with the USB step. Does anyone need help with the booting to the USB? Oh yeah, you should be able to go ahead, Jara.
Hey, just quick question. I was able to get the USB installer on my 2017. You get the Ubuntu on there, installer my 2017 HP laptop. Everything good. Do I need to keep that USB in there, or can I just take it out now?
Yeah, that was just to install. You should be able to take it off and reboot, and you should boot in fine.
Oh, wicked. Okay, so yeah. I'm sad, and I was able to get the SSH stuff all figured out as well. So.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So far, we've only heard from people who don't need any help installing Ubuntu today. I just want to make sure there are. You can type in the chat too if you don't want to speak up. I just want to confirm that there are people that need help with the actual install, because that's the goal for this hour, is to just help people install Ubuntu and get to the SSH step. I don't hear anyone. Oh yes, Ethan. Okay. All right, Ethan. So do you need help with the USB stick? Or are you good on that? What stage are you at?
I think you're muted, Ethan, if you're trying to speak.
Okay, so waiting on Ethan for more details. Other than that, I'm not sure what stage the rest of you are at. Maybe we should, is there maybe we should, is there anyone who needs help installing Ubuntu? Do you want to, other than Ethan, speak up or enter the chat?
Or if you have any feedbacks for the guides, if there was any step that you thought was a bit difficult or a bit complicated, or you were unsure, or where you had to consult Google.
Yeah, I have one topic. I installed the Raspberry Pi, and at the beginning I started with a USB stick, and I installed the whole system to a USB stick and then attached the SSD. But I was struggling with that. It was very slow, and I ended up install the whole system to the SSD, and I am not using a USB stick anymore.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's actually a great solution if you manage to do that. It's going to run fastest on the SSD.
Yeah.
It's also going to be the easiest to later on move that to a new computer if you ever decide to.
Mm-hmm.
Because ideally in the future, if you say you wanted to run this from a different machine, the only issues you might be running into are if the new machine is probably going to use a different chip architecture. But if you, but then, yeah, ideally you'd be able to just plug it into a new machine.
Yeah, that's right.
We could talk a bit about configuration options depending on what, if you have a laptop or a desktop and you're running Ubuntu on it, it might be worth to look into some of the settings and, for example, to prevent the machine to fall asleep, because that's something that we don't want. Something that, of course, is very useful for a laptop. If the laptop kind of isn't used, then it might lock the screen or it might shut down. There's also some, so I think the optimal configuration would be that the laptop never goes to sleep unless the battery is dead. And in that case, the laptop should ideally go into some kind of sleep mode, or even shut down. But other than that, maybe it's useful if the screen goes dark, if there's no activity, or if you want to have your laptop, for example, display logs or display some basic statistics from your node, then that might as well also just be running all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point, Leo. I did that just using the GUI in Ubuntu, because exactly my laptop kept shutting off after 15 or 20 minutes. So I think that's pretty easy to find in the GUI. I think it's in the top right corner. Well, that's all right, Ethan. Nice to have you back. And please let us know what steps you need help with. Okay. All right, Ethan. Do you know how to boot off the USB? Have you figured out, like, every computer has a different method to get into the BIOS? It could be like escape, F1, F2 kind of thing. Sometimes that can be a challenge. So do you have you figured out how to boot off the USB?
Yeah. Well, I figured out how to enter the BIOS, but
Okay, good.
I haven't booted from USB yet.
Okay. And every BIOS is different, but basically you're looking for something like boot, and then you should see the name of your USB drive. And
Okay.
I'm on a Lenovo laptop, but unless you're on a Lenovo laptop as well.
That's HP.
Mm.
But yeah, F10. BIOS.
Right. That's probably the hardest part of this class. So you're doing good if you got that part. So yeah, just try to find inside the BIOS there how to boot off the USB, and then
yeah, here
I'm
we go.
gonna
Boot
I'm gonna be
option.
yeah, and I'm gonna be doing the install
Yeah.
along with you.
Flash drive. Okay. Yeah. So just hit enter and go flash drive boot.
Should be, yeah. With any luck. Hey. I wasn't joking about that being the hardest step. I'm struggling with it on my own laptop right now.
Yeah, it doesn't want to accept the USB flash drive boot here.
What is it giving like an error, or just booted up?
No, it just like stuck on OS boot manager, and it won't let me select anything else here.
Okay. And
I'll try an alternate way here.
And if
there we go. F9. I got into the startup menu, so it says F9 boot menu. Let's see if it'll work there. Okay, here we go. It says Ubuntu, safe graphics, OEM install.
Yep, you're ahead of me. I was wrestling with the BIOS. I think it's probably just the first one. I don't think you want this. Try and install. Do you see try and install Ubuntu? The top.
Yeah,
one?
it says try or install Ubuntu.
Yeah. Pick that one.
Okay.
And I'm right along with you now.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry for the delay earlier. My phone was getting buggy.
And I think we've covered it, but please, anyone else, make sure you just speak up if you also are doing the install or need help with anything else. Or just want to talk about the weather or anything.
I will have a question about the SSH login. If we want to log in from another computer, do we need to create another key and copy it to the SSH folder on the Linux machine?
Yeah, you don't need to create another key. You just need to copy that private key to the other computer.
To the other computer.
So there's something like, one of the things I find kind of cool is with like there's this overlap with Bitcoin and the public private key, right? Like in Bitcoin, we have private keys and public keys. And with the SSH, it's also the same concept, which I think is kind of cool. And it's the same rules apply, right? Like you want to keep your private key private. If anyone has that key, they can log into your machine.
Mm-hmm.
The public key, similar to Bitcoin, they can't use it for anything. So yeah, you just copy that private key, the one that doesn't have .pub after it, onto any machine you want, and then you can, assuming you have a network connection and there's no firewall in the way or something, you can log in.
All right, thanks.
So, Mr. Ethan, I'm assuming you got to the try Ubuntu, install Ubuntu GUI. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead with the install. Yeah. And I just want to clarify, like, you're okay with right?
Yeah,
like-
yeah. It's a refurb laptop.
Okay, good, perfect. We don't want to overwrite anyone's life's
Are we
work
going
or
with
anything.
U.S. English here?
It's up
or-
to you. You're on your
what's
own on
next?
this one. If you want to be Canadian and pick UK English, you should be just fine with going with continue, I think.
Should I connect to a network?
Yeah.
now, or-
Yeah, you should connect to your Wi-Fi network.
This is already quicker than Windows.
Yeah. Yeah, the install should be pretty painless. If you've gotten this far, your chances of success are pretty good.
Download updates while installing.
Yeah.
Or
Yep, you should do that. And then
the
up to you if you
third-party stuff?
yeah, up to you if you want to do normal or minimal. You'd be fine just doing minimal. The normal will take a bit longer, but you'll have a bunch of extra stuff, which normally you wouldn't really want extra stuff on a Bitcoin node.
Mhm.
So it might be better to pick minimal because otherwise you might be tempted to start using it for other things. But it's up
I
to
do
you.
kind of want to learn Linux a little better. But
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you. Like, you can always install everything after. But if you want to do the normal install, definitely.
yeah, I could just reboot it and do it after, I guess.
Yeah, and then you should probably check the install third-party software for graphics. So the reason why you have to check something there is that
Mhm.
that might include proprietary software, which is fine. It's just that if you were like ideological, if you want to be a purist, don't check that box. If you want your computer to probably work a little bit better, check the box. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah,
It just means it might install some non-open source software.
Computer currently has Windows Boot Manager on it. What would
Yeah.
you like to do?
You want to
Install-
do the top one, yeah, erase.
Erase, yeah.
Yeah.
Advanced features? Should I?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. The advanced features, you can do disk encryption, which is sort of a good idea, especially on a laptop, especially if you're going to have Bitcoin related stuff on it. So it's up to you. It's just you're gonna have like a passphrase every time you boot the computer. If you forget the passphrase,
Yep.
you're locked out. But you might as well do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna do it.
So
Yeah, I
then,
think it's gotten a lot easier now. Like it used to be difficult to boot into a laptop that has full disk encryption. But now there's some way to like kind of like pass the encryption phrase as you do the SSH. But it's
I didn't
definitely
know
a bit
that.
more of an advanced setup.
That's a good point, Leo. Yeah.
I think the defaults, the security model of the defaults are that you rely mainly on the encryption of your wallet DB. So that's kind of what protects your Bitcoin private keys. So then every time you launch LND, you have to pass it the decryption key. And that kind of protects you that if somebody gets access to your device, they will get access to your operating system. They might see your channel database, but they will not be able to take your Bitcoin or even boot, or even run LND.
Yeah, there's two options here. It's use LVM
Mm.
or erase disk and use ZFS.
Yeah. So I think what Leo was sort of implying, like in this case, because it's a laptop and you're probably going to be physically in front of it when you boot it up, you should be okay with having to type the passphrase in. But like what he was saying is like, if the computer reboots and you're not around, it's not going to boot. It won't boot unless you type in the passphrase. And he was saying like there's security at other layers, so perhaps it's not really necessary to do the encryption on the disk.
Then I won't because
maybe it's easier if you don't. Yeah. So I'm going to follow along with you and not do it as well. So we're back at the erase and reinstall and then clicking the install now.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a warning.
Yeah, I got through that.
Yeah.
Where are you? Do we tell it the truth or do we lie? I guess this is just for.
I think it's just for the time zone. Yeah.
We'll be honest here.
And
So
did
it's
you
still
get
asking me for
Yeah.
a password here, but I guess that's just for like admin stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, it's just loading here.
You do it like you got the copying files.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, me too. Depending on how fast your USB drive is. I don't think it'll take that long though. So anyone else have any other questions while we're waiting for the installs to finish?
All right, then I have another question. So the computer is in my storage, and sometimes I need to access to the GUI. Because of this, I'm using TeamViewer, and this probably this is not the best solution. I tried to install VNC, but it was I couldn't do it. Somehow there was some issue. Do you have any VNC that you can suggest to install?
That is a good question. Leo, any advice?
Not specifically.
I mean, like in theory, like so the GUI. I don't know. I've been around a long time. These things always change, but basically, in theory you can connect remotely to the GUI using like just natively in Linux, but it's been a long time since I did it.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of computer are you connecting from? Like a Windows computer?
It's a Mac computer, and I'm connecting to the Raspberry. And the main issue is that with TeamViewer, I have to connect a display to the Raspberry Pi. Without that, it's just a black screen. So I'm connecting the screen, which I'm not looking at, and it is just there. And in that case, the TeamViewer is working.
Yeah.
If I disconnect it, I can't see anything.
And the thing is, you want to be able to use GUI apps.
Yeah, this is only for the GUI.
Let me look into it and see if I can find some instructions for you.
The best suggestion was to use TightVNC. But I don't know exactly how does it work, because at some step it was like I had to install another GUI, and I cannot use the existing one. It was not clear for me. maybe tight VNC need another type of desktop. Maybe I don't really. I was not able to. I couldn't understand it exactly.
I just threw something in the chat there from.
Yeah.
Now that's Ubuntu. Are you running Ubuntu on the Raspberry Pi or
Yes.
Ras? Yeah. Okay. So it looks like. Now I haven't done this before, but here's some instructions from Ubuntu on how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I did that.
You followed this, yeah.
The problem was that if the with Ramina, I couldn't really connect. There was an issue with the login. I think I always had to approve if I wanted when I wanted to connect from my Mac to the Raspberry. I always had to click on an approve or something like that.
On the Raspberry Pi.
On the Raspberry, and there is a solution for that, but that was quite complicated.
Okay.
So
I think I'll tell you what. After the class, I'll try in my environment. I'll try to follow these instructions and see if I run into the same issue you do and see if it works.
Okay, I try to find something like that. What was the issue? And put it in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess one thing I was going to mention too, just in general, is with Linux. If you're looking for help or like instructions or tutorials, make sure that it's something that's specific for Ubuntu and like close to your version. Because there's a million different ways to do things in Linux. And if you're reading like instructions from like 10 years ago, you might go on some crazy rat hole that is never going to work. So try to make sure you're following instructions for Ubuntu or the distribution you're using.
Yeah.
It's just something I thought about. Because I'm not like the other thing with this class is like we're not really sure. Like everyone's at a different level, right? And I'm not exactly sure what people know about Linux and don't know. So please keep asking very basic, even if it's a very basic question, because we might assume that people know it. Like even what a distribution is. I don't know if that's obvious to everyone.
I don't know what a distribution is.
Good. I'm glad somebody asked. Thank you. So Ubuntu is a distribution of Linux. What that means is basically Linux is like an open source project. And strictly speaking, Linux is actually just the very core of the operating system called the kernel. Everything else you see, like all the GUI you see, all the like, where you're typing in the terminal and stuff, those are all just programs that interact with Linux. And something like Ubuntu is called, it's basically a group. Ubuntu has done all the work of making everything work together and shipping it as like a cohesive product. But there's other distributions, like Red Hat is a big commercial one that like corporations use. So that's why like with the instructions and the tutorials, you really want to make sure, don't just like, how do I do this in Linux? Because that's not quite the right question. The right question is like, how do I do this in Ubuntu Linux? Or how do I do this in Red Hat Linux?
Cool.
Was that good explanation?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like Noster basically as an analogy and all the apps that interact with it, sort of.
Yeah, it's all kind of interesting. Like
Ubuntu is not proprietary, open source, but
yeah, it's a company, but it's open source. Yeah.
It's asking me if I want updated software.
I didn't get that. I got all the way to the restart. So what does it say? It
says updated software has been issued since 22.04 was released. That's weird. I just loaded it like yesterday.
Yeah, that's okay. Did you already reboot? Did you already like reboot and log in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you're ahead of me. Okay. So, yeah, you want to do that. Basically even though you just downloaded it yesterday, that version was probably like the 22.04 could be a couple months Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like it came out. It came out in February. So anything that's changed since February, it wants you to update, which is a
I
good
see.
idea. Which is kind of interesting because both you and I did like install the latest software during the install, but it seems like that didn't work for some reason. But yeah, like it's kind of it's interesting, all these like parallels or fractals or something between like Linux and open source and Bitcoin. Like the public private key, like the kernel, and then the rest of the software.
Yeah.
It is quite fascinating.
And then there's another thing popping up that says enable Ubuntu Pro or skip.
I don't know. You're ahead of me. I would say probably skip. Does anyone else? Leo, did you run into that?
Yeah, it's a new like subscription feature. I don't think like it adds particular value, so you might as well just skip it.
Yeah.
But it is at the moment it's all free, but they kind of make you go to their website and type in your email address, and then you get a key, and then you can add that key into your Ubuntu. It feels like a bit of a way to attach like an identity to your node, which is not really necessary.
Yeah, it's probably on the path to trying to upsell you into paying for Ubuntu, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because there are companies that use Ubuntu and they're happy to pay, but we don't need to do that.
Do we need location services?
No, I just said no to all that.
Yeah.
I know it's getting a little suspiciously Windows-like on that first sign-in. Like, would you like to connect your Facebook? Would you like to
scan your face?
Yeah.
Yeah,
as someone alluded to, like it's Canonical is actually the name of the company that owns Ubuntu, but it is like a for-profit company. But luckily we can still use it for free, and it is open source, but it is also a company.
Yeah, I'm clear now.
Okay, so did you do the SSH keygen steps on your other computer?
No.
That's all right. We'll help you along with that.
I didn't get to that part yet.
So just bring up the this is what we're supposed to be following here. And anyone else need help on the SSH key part now that we're at this?
Should I keep going along here, or?
We'll just follow the SSH, like create the SSH key on your personal machine. So you can just do it on your own and ask questions as you have them.
Yeah, just command prompt window. It's
Yeah, on your Windows computer. It's either a PowerShell terminal or just the old-fashioned command.exe or whatever they call it.
node key RSA is what I'm calling the file. Or
Yeah, it's fine. You can call it whatever you want.
would you put a passphrase in here? Is that the same as we were going over before, basically?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life. But I mean, it is more secure. It's like a Bitcoin private key, right? If someone gets their hands on that file, if there's no passphrase, then they have it. But as long as you make sure no one gets that file, you don't really need a passphrase. But it is, of course, better with it.
Just tiresome to have to enter it in all the time. And often you can save it in your keychain. So that kind of like adds like an additional layer, especially on Macs, where you kind of expect your keychain to be better protected than your regular files.
Should I save it on a separate USB or I guess?
Yeah, you'll need something because I'm assuming you're on a Windows computer, right?
Yeah.
So you'll need something that's like formatted that the Windows can write to, which that other USB will not be. I mean, you could reuse that USB, but you'll have to format it if you only had one.
So, do I want to copy down this key fingerprint here? Or is it just saved?
Yeah, you don't need that.
So yeah, once I do that, it's saved in the file and we're good. Once I it tells me it's down there. Yeah.
Hey, Leo, you must have been getting pretty nervous with the mempool $18 fees a couple days ago. It's settled back down to a respectable $2.
Oh, there it is. So yeah, the .pub file is what I want to load on the USB, right?
Yes, yeah.
How do I open a terminal window on Linux here on Ubuntu?
Yeah. You just
Oh,
go
there we
to
go. Terminal.
activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you found it. So you're gonna go for it. You're gonna try the command line method.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just
should
teasing.
I?
Right? Yeah. No, it's fine. If you're gonna learn, you might as well start learning, right?
Oh, I gotta put my password in again. So I just run both those commands back to back there, the apt update. I did that. And then
Yeah.
I want to install. Oh, I need to plug in the USB before I install the SSH
no,
server?
No, you can do this the install step first.
So the next step, I want the USB in there, or
Yeah. Oh yeah, so this was what I was saying. This one you have the choice between the command line method and the graphical method. But you might as well go ahead with the command line. We can walk you through it. So I think, did you put the USB in?
yeah.
I think there's a step missing here where we need to you need to view what the key is and then put it in that file. So let's see here. So if you
Okay, yeah, it says you gotta paste it from the file.
yeah, but you got to get it first, right?
Yeah.
So if you do you want to do cd/media?
Okay, I've got.
I just put it in the chat. Oh, sorry.
I've got the USB access now. Can I just open that?
You could just use the GUI. Yeah, you could just use the GUI to open that file. Basically, it's like a text file, and you need the
Yeah, it's that whole thing below SSH-RSI. I guess the entire.
it's the whole thing in that
the
file.
whole string.
Yeah.
There's like part of a path on my old computer there. It looks like on my other laptop.
At the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just ignore that. It's okay.
Should the equals be the last symbol?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It'll be the last symbol.
You can, yeah, exactly. You got it. You can include all of it, or you can just get rid of everything after the equals.
All right. Gotcha.
Extraneous information.
So do I paste it after I do the authorized keys command, or right into that command?
You want to be into that. So that nano and then that's going to open it. Like nano is a text editor.
Yeah.
So you're saying like exactly. So you want to do that and then paste it into that
So instead of authorized keys, I replace that with my key.
No, the file name is authorized keys,
Oh, okay.
and then this goes inside that.
So I paste this in the command.
No.
Authorized keys should be the file, should be a text file, and you can just paste multiple keys in there, just one line for each key.
Okay, so I want to hit enter first on that
Yeah.
authorized key, and then
Yeah.
paste it after. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says directory.sh does not exist.
Do you have the tilde there? That wavy line in front? You didn't miss that?
No, I put that in.
Okay, so
Hmm.
well, that's okay. We can
Did
deal
you
with
already
this.
install the OpenSSH server? Or what is it called? The OpenSSH?
No, that's what I'm doing right now. Well, I did. Yeah, I did the yeah. Sorry, I did the install OpenSSH server. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't automatically create the SSH directory. Maybe you have to make it yourself. I think I had to make it
I don't
myself.
know.
Oh.
I'm not sure. Let's just make sure he's in the right.
You could also try to restart SSH or something, and then it should create it.
I think. So are you at the command line now?
It went into this GNU Nano 6.2.
That's the
Oh.
text editor. Yeah, that's good.
So okay, so I should paste my key into there, and then maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a fancy notepad called Nano.
Oh, there we go.
And then the instructions are on there on how to save.
What's the little up arrow? Is that actually up arrow, or is that shift? The commands below there?
I'm not sure what you mean.
The up arrow, you can write that by Shift 6 usually on the American keyboards. I don't know about the UK keyboards, but American keyboards usually Shift 6. Then there's it's like a little hat, like an accent.
Yeah,
accent
yeah.
cover.
That thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I see. Okay, it's not doing anything.
But
Okay.
Are you trying to save and exit?
I'm trying to paste, like it's in.
Yeah, I've had so paste. You can try a right click and paste, because Control V will not work. So you could try.
Yeah, I know. I just yeah. Right click and that worked.
Okay.
And then enter, or
And then to save, Control O, and to exit, Control X.
does it matter if I hit enter? Is that gonna add a character or no?
I think Enter will make a new empty line, which is fine.
Okay. So Control O, you said? Yeah.
Yeah, Control O. Control O, it's short for write out.
Yeah, it says file name to write, home /
Yeah, just then say okay.
/
Because at the bottom, what it tells you with these little
Okay.
cat signs, it actually means control. Sorry, I didn't catch that earlier properly. But kind of all the options you have in there are Control R is read file, Control
Okay,
W.
that's control. Okay, I thought it was shift.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to create that SSH directory, and that's got to be in.
Is it telling you that? Like it can't save it, or?
Yeah, it says error writing /home / and then where?
It's okay. We can take it from the.
Yeah, I'm in the home, but it doesn't have the
That's
draft.
Okay.
I just called it Pablo for my name because I just threw something in there. I didn't know if I wanted my real name in there.
The
But
command
it's
is
not.
mk or
But is he in the right place? Is what I'm confused about. What
Oh,
happens
yeah.
if you type PWD? What does it say?
PWD.
Yeah,
Just in the with
in the terminal. Yeah.
GNU Nano.
No, in the terminal. Get out of Nano for a second.
Just exit out. It's fine.
Yeah, do the Control X. Yeah. Something went wrong. Because I'm pretty sure the .ssh directory should be there. I didn't create it.
Well, now that I've got, should I save this pub file onto the hard drive here?
I would just cancel out and we'll just do it again.
Starting from the command line again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think something went wrong with the nano command, like the initial, because when you first ran it, you said like you were getting an error, and then you just moved on.
But yeah, Leo was saying he had to create that directory. I thought I think
I know, but I didn't though. Like I just reinstalled. I just did
okay.
install. So that makes me think something like you might be in the wrong spot or something.
So sudo apt update. Start from there again.
Oh, no, you that part I think you're okay. Just type PWD.
The nano.
I think another option is just to like restart SSH and see if that kind of creates it.
Okay,
Like
PWD.
Oh, you might be right. I might have rebooted. But yeah, type PWD. Let's see where you are.
Yeah. It says /home/Pablo.
Okay, and if you type ls-al, I'll type it in the thing. That's to list in the directory. You should see a .ssh. This will settle the mystery.
ls-al command not found.
You must have -al. I put it in the chat.
Yeah, ls space -al or
Yeah.
ls.
Yeah, there's a space before the dash.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
And do you see a .ssh directory?
No.
Okay, that settles the mystery. So maybe I think Leo is correct. Maybe run the command that he's got there. I think I probably rebooted my computer, and that's why I had the directory. Oh, I think that he's not. It's not quite right though. It's interesting.
What the heck?
You could just reboot as well if you want to.
Yeah, I don't think that worked there.
Yeah, I don't think that command, Leo. That's not quite right.
Just okay. Just restart the whole thing.
Yeah, try a restart. I'm just kind of curious
and
too.
For everyone else, since we're coming up the time, I just want to quickly go over and get a bit of feedback for what we should do next. I think, logically speaking, next week we should be looking at like the command line and learn a bit of tricks about the command line, because that makes everything in the future so much easier. But maybe practically speaking, we could just, dull as we are, follow the instructions to compile Bitcoin Core and start running, because then as we kind of wait, the Bitcoin blockchain gets time to sync. And it could take longer than a week to sync. So that way we don't have to like skip a week. So maybe like a little bit soliciting feedback and what you think about this. And also next week, some of us might be in Miami. And technically Wednesday is not yet the Miami day, but it might be just like difficult to do the workshop.
They might have more fun things to do.
Yeah. So I think I would offer if you are up for Wednesday noons, like if you're able to make that work, then we could do it then. And if you say you can't make it work, then we skip that week, or we find another day. Learning the command line is relatively fun, and I think it is worth it. It is also just as all. I think learning the command line is also one of the more optional sessions. So if then Wednesday noon does not work for you, we can also, it's fine if you skip that. We are going to, of course, write all the commands and all the tools that we discuss onto our guide. And then we can kind of do it like as a home session.
I, for one, will not be in Miami, so I'll be around to help with Linux next week.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to lead the session too.
Are you going to be away? I'm assuming.
I'm going to be away.
I don't think
Yes,
I
sir.
would have the discipline to sit in a hotel room in Miami and lead this class, Leo. If you did,
Yeah,
you're a better
it's
man than I.
difficult, yeah.
How are things looking there, Ethan? Did you get the reboot done?
Yeah, I just restarted.
And you want to try that LS again and see if you got that SSH directory?
Yeah.
Nice.
You do have it now? There you go. That settles that mystery.
No, it's still not there.
Yeah, that's weird.
Should be okay to just make it. I mean, the thing with making it is often they don't have the right permissions, but.
Or does like he not have the SSH client or something? I'm confused.
Well, actually, one thing you can try, just make a key. Just do SSH keygen. It doesn't matter if you use the key, then if you type in SSH keygen, it will make a key on that device, which we might not use later on. But if that doesn't create that folder, then
yeah, it's a good. Did you try that, Ian? Sorry, Ethan.
Yeah, it says enter file in which to save the key.
Yeah, so just do like enter.
So then it shows .ssh there. Yeah.
It's going to create it, presumably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
It's weird. Do you, Leo, is it, it's the same meeting room for the next session, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
So we're kind of over. Do you want me to take this offline?
Is anyone here who wants to do the VPS tutorial?